All right, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Welcome to another Q&A, Ask Us Anything. No agenda tonight. Go ahead and start putting your comments and questions in the chat. I will also drop the link in case you guys want to talk to us, camera on or camera off. It's your choice. And speaking of us, who are we? We are Maggie and Lucy, the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, and we help variety of women, but I would say professional women maintain their femininity in a very masculine space. So I'm going to let Lucy introduce herself. Lucy, it's so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. It feels like we haven't talked since last Saturday. It feels weird not to talk to you on a daily basis. So
We
I'm
can make that
Lucy.
happen.
It's Lucy and Maggie. I've been part of this adventure with Maggie since I don't know how long ago was it, Maggie?
We started working heads down this summer, but it was several
Summer.
months ago. It was in the spring, and Lucy always tells the story about you all know that I'm online as Maggie, the substitute teacher. You know, I have a cooking channel, and I also talk about other things. I was doing one of these Q&As, ask me anything, and several of you all had said, you know, you're going to start a school or a course or write a book or something. We need to get this out there. And I was just like, maybe one day, I just like add that to the list of things. And Lucy was in the chat. And what did you say?
And I said, Maggie, I have a bachelor's on vocational education, and I do know a little bit about writing up curriculums. And then that's all it took. That's where she said, okay, I'm going to call you after this. It was like 5 minutes, and she was on the phone right away, which is something that I admire so much from Maggie because she absolutely takes charge. When she says she's going to do something, there's no question about it. And I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it from the beginning. And it's in that is somebody that is committed. For me, it's admirable. And it takes somebody that has that personality to take on um, a project and move from beginning to end. And to me, that's an actual skill that it's admirable that you don't find it as much now. So when I see it, because I have to tell you, as an introvert, I'm a little more laid back and I just allow people to do their thing. So this relationship, this partnership with you and me, I think it's worked perfectly because you're the one that takes charge and I'm the one that supports you and does things, goes along with your ideas, and then we talk about it and then we say, yeah, we like this, we don't like that, but it's a great relationship.
Absolutely. It is a great working relationship. Shout out to Capone for the 9.99. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm going to put you in the ticker. I also see you, Anthony, with the question. So we are going to come to you first. But just a little bit about me. As Lucy said, I am very type A. And I've had to work on that and make sure I use my powers for good and not evil. So a little bit about me. Where to begin? So I am a former wife of 10 years. I was married at 25 to my college boyfriend. Loved being married, but I always loved being married. But I always tell you all, I got caught up in a little bit of that modern woman mindset. It's 50-50. We can do everything a man can do until I hit the wall. But two kids from the marriage, two boys. Unfortunately, it ended in divorce, but we co parent really well. Everything is amicable. And since that divorce, I've been in another long term relationship with a very traditional 1% man. So I've had to do a lot of work to get on his program. And that's what I share here, what I've gotten right and what I've gotten wrong. I am a professional woman. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. I have an MBA. I am a certified business analyst. And so I've got a lot of accolades on paper, but my heart is really about helping the younger women. And we just There's so much that is not being shared, so that's what we want to do here. Lucy, do you want to share a little bit about your background, and then we'll take Anthony's question?
Yes, I've been married for 16 years now, but as Maggie, I had a marriage of 11 years. It ended up in divorce. It was very amicable. There was, I think, one of the reasons probably it's because maybe if we would have had children, it would have been a little different. I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can say is that he's a great man. We were just not right for each other. And then I met my husband now, and he's just the right guy for me. I mean, it's a happy marriage. Of course, marriage takes time, and it takes work. It takes reminders. He reminds me things about things. I remind him about things. And it's just, it's we're learning about each other without any animosity, understanding that we're in this together until the end. And I think that what Maggie and I can bring to this world is maybe a little bit of an understanding on being a traditional wife with traditional values in the modern world.
Absolutely. So we have Anthony Realism coming in from your channel. First question, he says, I'm a 39-year-old Black man and I want a wife like Maggie who is a little older. Any tips? All right, so just a clarifying question, older than me or older than you? I've shared with you all I'm 47, so I'm in my late 40s, approaching 50. I'll be 48 next month. Lucy has shared that she is 57. So are you wanting a woman older than me, so older than 50, or older? I hope I'm going to take this as a compliment that you thought I was so young. You thought I was in my 20s, that you wanted like a 30 something version of Maggie. That's what I'm going to go with. So maybe Anthony, if you could clarify. But I'll say this. One of the things that I really love about this space is that we have created a community in the finishing school and outside of our finishing school of women who believe in traditional values and want more of that and want to promote their softness and their femininity. It is definitely something that you can work on and enhance. So we are out there. We've just been kind of like quiet because, the image that is promoted is not the image that we are. So I would say, there's definitely hope, but I would love to get a clarity. Lucy, what?
I think it's also what is it that you want, Anthony? Do you want children? Are you not looking for children? Because again, you got to think about if it's somebody older, the chances that she is already has children or is happy not having children because of her age. I mean, there's a danger on becoming pregnant after 35. I think it's called geriatric pregnancy. So again, it all depends. I mean, why is it that you want an older woman? Is it because of the maturity level? There are younger ladies that are very mature. They're just not out here in social media. And that's good because social media tends to um, bring out the narcissism and the attention that we as women we crave. As an introvert, I don't crave it as much. That's to me, that's like, a vampire showing her holy water. But I'm out here. I'm out here because I think that we have something to help, to provide. But again, there are younger women that can have that level of maturity, but it has to do with what is it that you want in a woman.
All right, so I'm going to try and answer this, and I'm going to be very frank with you. We are going to start a little bit heavy. So Anthony says you're 39 and you want a woman older than me. So let's just say she's 49 because I'm 47. So you want a woman in her 50s. Um, I'm very curious as to why. Not that it matters, but being traditional, one of the things that I tell my boys, and one of the things that I've learned the hard way, a woman has to respect her man. It is a non-negotiable. Even if you think, oh yeah, it's 50-50. Oh yeah, that nobody's really in charge. We just kind of co-operate or co-lead. It doesn't work that way in the long haul. Now, I'm sure there are exceptions and there are lots of May, December romances, but Lucy and I have a huge connection to the Kevin Samuel space. And, one of the things he always used to say is that a man needs that 10 years to be heads down to really build himself so that you can command that respect. So, realistically, um, a woman who's in her 50s, she's on the second half of life. She's past her childbearing years. You may not want children, that's totally fine. She's probably had a career, hopefully, had a serious relationship that for whatever reason ended. And by 50, she should be well into the woman that she is. So, someone like me, I'm thinking of myself in my 50s. I'm definitely looking to, dare I say, age gracefully. I'm not ready for grandkids or anything, but once the boys are married and um, it's that time, that would be the type of older woman that I want to be. Also, doing something like this that gives back and brings me joy. So I'm struggling with why a man who's 39, which is prime years for a man, because you still could have a full life of your own. Maybe you already have children, I don't know. Um, but it's doable. Would I recommend it? It would be really tough because, not only how you all feel about each other, but marriage and relationship bleeds over into community and society. And so I'm just wondering what my friends would say if I showed up with somebody who was in their 30s. So it would just be a lot to overcome. But where you would find someone busy doing the things that's important to her. She may be doing something philanthropic. She could be doing something in the church or with the family. You're going to find her in those spaces. But whether she would look at a man, her junior, with the same amount of respect, that'd be a tough one. That's what I would say. Lucy, anything else to add?
I agree. I think, are there 50-year-old women that would probably be okay with somebody younger than they are? Probably. But again, it's trying to find what is it, the needle in a haystack when it comes to that stuff. Again, some women can really talk the talk really well, but once it comes down to actually living and providing that traditional life, um, if a 50-year-old woman has been out and about and has had many relationships and is still looking for something, that's going to be a little challenging. Um, Again, are 50 plus women out there looking for that traditional life? I'm sure there are, but again, it's going to be difficult. So I think that as a 39-year-old, you just keep on working on yourself. And whether she is a 50 plus woman or a younger woman with that is mature, somehow it'll happen. You just have to focus on yourself.
Yeah, and I don't want to be a dead horse here, Anthony. And thank you for the question because you actually give us an opportunity to use this as a teachable moment. But I'll just say this with respect, it's a little bit of an oxymoron to be looking for someone like Maggie who would date a man well her junior because you're looking for a traditional woman to do something that's not traditional. There are plenty of 50-year-old women out here that would happily take a younger man, but they're proud of being a cougar. They're the ones that are like, 50 is the new 40, or out here maybe twerking, trying to compete with the 20 and 30-year-old. So it's a completely different mindset from someone, like me, who, when I look at any young man, I see my sons, which is an instant, even like visceral reaction without even me thinking, oh, he might be a nice guy. If you remind me of my children, it's a non-starter. So those are just some things to think about. Men, I understand the appeal of a woman who's composed and has herself together and is modest and is loving and nurturing. I would just say, because you want her to look at you like the king you are, I would just advise against it. Is it doable? Yes, but she would probably not be a traditional 50-year-old woman. All right, that was a tough one to start. We have just another Mark saying, "Did I hear I'm a PhD?" I'm not a PhD. I'm an MBA, but y'all know me well enough. I just give you my background. I don't lead with my accomplishments, ladies. That's a huge one. All of our degrees and our accolades and our big six-figure jobs, it's for us. It doesn't matter to the men, not the man that you want. All right. So if someone asks, or if it's relevant for the conversation, yes, but you'll never hear Lucy and I talking about our accolades on paper. Thank you for that. Lucy, did you want to add anything?
I think that the point that you said about thinking about your when you see somebody younger, you think viscerally about your sons, and it's something that is just doesn't really make sense to you. I agree. Again, the fact that the traditional values is more like, same age, an older man and a younger wife. I think that's more traditional than the other way around, a younger husband and an older wife. That's not really traditional. Could it happen? Yes, but it's probably more rare than anything else.
So I'd love to know what you all think. Lucy and I are answering from our own life experience. So Anthony is 39. He says he wants a traditional, mature woman. He does not want children because I'm way past the wall. And he doesn't want a wife under 45. He has his own reasons, but I'd love to know, what would you all say? What do you all think in the chat? One, how would you advise him to go towards that if that's what he wants? And what would you all say if you saw a woman with a man several years her junior? Everybody's coming in and saying hello. Thank you all so much for being here. We've got some updates on the courses, but let's see what else you all have. Continue to ask your questions. This is your night. So Jay Shar says, raised to be traditional or older, mature. I like this. He's making the distinction between a traditional woman. Just because, let's say I'm 50. Sorry, let's say I'm 50. Just because you're 50 in years, what should come with that is wisdom. But you all know, and there might be some in your family, we've definitely seen older women behaving badly or behaving in a way that is not becoming. So you can be older by the calendar, but not wiser. So definitely having clarity on what it is you're looking for. And I think he knows what he wants. On the other side, we got E Capone here. Shout out to E Capone, our stream sponsor at 9.99, who says, I'm looking for a young lady. Um, and there's women of all ages out here. And I think even if I became single for whatever reason, in my 50s, I would definitely want love, for the rest of my years. I feel like I have a lot of love to give, but how we approach it would just be different. So that's what we're creating. And in our finishing school, we have a teenager and we have a 50-year-old and everything, in between. Um, but yes, I always tell you all marriages are different. There's different types of wives and there's different types of husbands, and I understand and accept that. We always speak from the traditional perspective, but we're well aware that there may be a May December romance for someone. Absolutely. So E Capone is announcing his intentions. If you want to share your, oh, he said he's looking for 30 to 42. Man, the men are coming in hot today. Okay, ladies in the chat, we have two men here, apparently two brothers here who are announcing their intentions. I don't know if they want to share anything more, but please feel free to connect with each other. Wow. Just another mark says not twerking at 50. I know I'm not alone. Y'all have seen it. I have seen some very interesting things on TikTok with women with knee braces trying to do the trending dances. It's just no, no. Anything you want to add, Lucy?
Yeah, twerking at 50 outside is not a good idea. Twerking outside at all is just not a good idea. That is something that should be left between husband and wife, and that's it. Not outside. Again, traditional thinking, traditional values.
Exactly. I was going to take it even further and say twerking is not a good idea. But again, what you do in the privacy of your relationship is yours. And that's one of the things that I want young ladies to really take to heart is that our bodies and what we do, it's not for public consumption. You know, it's very important to a man. Kevin Samuels always used to say that we women don't understand men because we don't study them. But when you really understand men, you know, what I've been told, because clearly I'm not one, is that they're very possessive and protective of their own. And so if they have claimed you as their own, they want to know what's theirs is for them. And so you putting it all out there for the world to see and talking about, oh, I'm just empowered, you're giving what belongs to him away. And I think it becomes less special. So yes, enjoy each other, but everybody doesn't need to see it. Everybody doesn't want to see it. Thank you so much for the compliment. We have introvert Boricua. We have a troll. We have a Puerto Rican introvert. Is that a, como se dice? Is it Boricua? Is that Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
Lucy?
See how he said how they have Intro Boricua, PR, Puerto Rico,
It's the
Puerto
flag.
Rico.
Oh, I love Puerto Rico. It was beautiful. I had to go there for work years ago. But we have a troll, our first finishing school troll. I love it. Says, Miss Maggie seems so sweet. More women need to learn from her. Thank you for the compliment. I will say this. Yes, I do believe I'm naturally sweet, but I've had to work on my femininity and my softness. I have invested years and thousands and continue to do the work for my own refinement. And I've shared with you all, you know, going back to Anthony and the request, you know, I'm with a man that I knew from childhood, and like we women mature more quickly when we're younger. I was ready, and he was not. He needed to go out and live his life. So, you know, broke my little heart, but it it ended amicably, and we both went off, and life brought us back together. And the person that he is now, um, when we reconnected, you know, he told me he was on track to be VP. He was being groomed for a VP position. He's now a VP. And I was like, man, I have a little bit of a silly side and I can be loud and I'm an extrovert, and, you know, all that's not always appropriate. So I really had to work and study on how to be the best version of myself, everything from my speech to my gestures and all of that. So you all don't have to make the mistake. That's why we have created the finishing school, because I do believe there's a lot that we can share and learn. So thank you for the compliment. But we always tell our students, you've never arrived. You can always get better. Anything you wanted to add to that one, Lucy?
Couldn't have said it better. Better.
All right. Hello, Danielle. Danielle and I went to high school together, at middle school even. We got Tara in the house. She has given me permission. Y'all know we don't out anybody here, but Tara is one of our students in the finishing school. And I've talked to her several times, and she's given such good feedback. Um, School is in session right now. The next intake will be in January in the new year. So, ladies, if you've gotten feedback that you're masculine, that you're hard, that you're loud, if you feel like you're trying to do everything and you want to really promote your softness and your femininity, I encourage you to add your name to the wait list. When enrollment opens up again, we would love to take you on this journey. Tara, if you want to add anything, feel free to type it in the chat. Okay, we've got Celine here. Celine says, I know a woman who at 18 got married to a man 30 years older than her. Even though I'm attracted to a lot older man, that gives my stomach an upset feeling. There's a lot of opinions about this. Again, I will say there's lots of different types of relationships, but 18, that's a huge gap. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Lucy, do you want to talk about age gap or anything else?
Yeah, age gaps are they can get a little tricky. I think for me, anything over uh, 12 or 15 years, I think that's a huge gap, when the young lady that you're meeting is just learning about things, you've already been there and done that. So there might be kind of, if if you want to show her the world, that's great. But sometimes when you're too young, you don't want to see the world from, with other people. You want to experience it on your own. So I don't know. It's a weird. It's To me, it's a huge age gap. It's just it doesn't sound. It sounds a little more challenging. Again, marriage is requires a lot of work, and you're putting an additional. Um, Challenge to add that wide of an age gap. My husband and I were 9 years, he's 9 years older than I am. My ex husband, he was the same. So I think that I would say 10 years the most, but anything more than that, it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, my ex-husband was 7 years older than me, and my man is almost 2 years older than me. But yeah, whew, I'll just keep moving on. Erin Laura says it's unusual, but if she's supportive of him and they get on well, I don't see a problem with it. So it sounds like she's chiming in on Anthony's request for a woman 45 plus. Maybe you're in the chat. Maybe you and Anthony can connect. There are plenty of dating apps for older people these days. I'm old, y'all, but I know the dating apps are a thing. I would just offer this. In addition to 80, I wouldn't do dating apps exclusively for a variety of reasons. I really do think if you what I would do if I found myself single again, I would work in my network. I would hope that I had made, even if they weren't romantic relationships, but enough friendships or business connections over the years. At 50, you should have enough of a network where if you told people, I'm interested in being in a relationship again, I have a lot of love to give. If you know anyone, please make an introduction. I would also really go into my hobbies or any type of volunteer or philanthropic work or anything that I could do where I feel good about it and meet someone who has similar interests. Maybe I'm old, but I feel like it's not as complicated as we make it. And when two good people, when you come together and you start having a conversation, if you're in an area where it's easy to talk to each other, then naturally you can tell if there's like a connection there and you take it from there. So I'm not knocking the dating apps, but it just can be a little bit of a revolving door, and I would think it's exhausting. What do you say, Lucy?
Yeah, I think that when you do the person to person type meeting through friends, through similar values, I think there's more of a chance that you're going to find somebody that matches most of your values than going through an app that, yeah, algorithms will match. But maybe, that person can, it's like a resume. That person can look great on a resume. And then once she presents or he presents themselves to an interview, it completely doesn't match what is on paper. So I think that, as again, I'm old school. Again, I'm 57, so I don't know anything about these dating apps. I even know I even know I even know about there's this new real, what is it, one of those shows, it's called The Golden Bachelor, with an older, yes, yes, that sounds absolutely crazy.
Horrible.
Actually, I'm curious to see how it works out. But it's we for me, I understand that there are older folks that want to date, but I think the best way to do it is on a one-on-one, on a personal, a friend of a friend, through family, because again, apps are very deceiving. People are using filters. They're looking. A 50-year-old looks like she's 30 when when you get to on that one date meeting, it's somebody completely different. I've heard of people just walking out when they see the real person showing up. So that's actually pretty embarrassing. So I think that on a person, it's best to do it in a, you know, uh, not on a virtual level, a real level. You say, I like her, he likes me, we talk, okay, it sounds good. Let's go to our first date. We like what we see on the first date. Let's go to the second date, and so on and so forth.
I absolutely love that. I'll just say this about The Golden Bachelor. I absolutely cannot watch it. My guy loves it. He's like, this thing is a train wreck. Like, he can't not watch it. I have so many opinions. I love love and I want love for everyone, but just to be in my 50s and 60s, and no, I wouldn't suggest that. All right.
And that says, sorry, and that says a
No.
lot too for the world we're living in, that we've made divorce so easily, that and it's harder for us women on a later age to find a love, when you could have, okay, when you could have made the right choice with the first guy, and maybe, we all have issues, we have problems, and the way that we are supposed to honor marriage is to go through those issues together. Of course, there are a few that are non-negotiables, but overall, if you hear these women that have divorced, one of the reasons is that I was bored. He wasn't doing it for me. Um, you know, it, I met somebody else that was doing it for me. So those are kind of, you know, uh, non-real I don't know, non-realistic excuses for leaving a marriage. Of course, there are really good reasons to leave. One of those things is any type of physical or any other type hurtful things that could happen between man and woman. But the reasons to leave a marriage are very limited, and uh, we've made for women to leave marriage so easily that now we're seeing the repercussions for 50, 55, 60-year-old women that haven't found the one, where they could have stayed with the one from the beginning.
Gosh, that is so true. And I just got a little bit of a chill, not in a good way, when you said, I'm bored. I want to speak on this a little bit. I think we've got it backwards. And I feel like I've said this before, where women almost look at marriage or relationships like the man is supposed to be their constant entertainment. And if you have been with a traditional man, he is measured, he is predictable, he is steady, he is not chaotic like we are. You can interpret that as boredom, or you can say, oh my God, thank God for the stability, because I am all over the place. I remember when I got divorced, and some of my professional girlfriends were like, oh, you need to get out there, because we didn't have apps, back in 1842. You need to get out there. It's so much fun. It's this and that. I hated it. Like 3 months later, 6 months later, like I'm in a relationship, and I'm really glad I did while I still had a little bit of youth, with me, because I think, taking these trips around the mountain, and other trips, that you end up, um, I would say, giving your best years to someone who doesn't really have intentions for you. And ladies, we always say, Intention is not the same as attention. Speaking of that, I see a comment here from Danielle, my classmate. I am going to use this as another teachable moment. So, Danielle says, men today are afraid of independent women. I disagree. I would say men today choose to avoid independent women for various reasons. Again, it goes back to the nature of a man. Once you study them, you realize it is paramount for them to have purpose and to feel needed. So, any woman out there, and I see Danielle says she's 49, I don't care if you're 19 or 29 or 39 or 49 or 59. The moment you say, I'm independent and I don't need a man, you have probably sealed your fate. Because why is he here if you don't need him? On the contrary, I tell my guy every day how grateful I am to have him, run decisions by him. I appreciate his leadership. I appreciate his decisiveness. I appreciate him checking on me, really caring about how I'm doing, just so much. Now, I understand, and we talked a little bit about this, I think a couple streams ago. There is being an adult and taking care of yourself. As a grown woman, absolutely, you should be able to provide for yourself and feed yourself and put a roof over your head. And, in today's world, and I mean, I went from my father to my husband, but in today's world, a lot of women, live an independent life temporarily. But I would disagree. Now, I'm coming from the perspective of I really value relationships and I see the value of men. And as a boy mom, it is so important to me that the women that they choose really do need them, because when a woman says or indicates that she doesn't need you, I would guess a little bit inside of a man kind of dies inside, and he will find the woman who needs and appreciates him. Those are my thoughts. What would you say, Lucy?
Yeah, very well said, Maggie. I come from two countries that were taken over by communism. I went through two civil wars. And I got to tell you that if we had the thought that we didn't need the men, I wouldn't be here. So the men were the ones out there fighting for their families, their lives, for everything that they thought was worth fighting for. So there is a need for men. Unfortunately, in the modern world, the world has become so easily that we as women think we do not need our men. I was I was part of the people that went through Hurricane David back in Florida, and when stuff hit the fan, after the hurricane destroyed everything, the ones out there with truckloads with water, cutting the trees, moving stuff out of the streets to make the to recreate our world that had been devastated were the men. So I think it's easy to say that we don't need our men until we need them. And for me, I don't want to be part of a world that has gotten rid of men, because we are going to be have to be putting the work that they've created for us all of these centuries and decades ago.
Oh my goodness. First of all, let me shout out. We have another stream, a new stream sponsor. I'm coming back to that point because Lucy just struck a nerve with me and I'm gonna speak to it. Kim K, thank you. This is incredibly generous. 49.99. And she says, the advice you ladies provide is so refreshing. Thank you both for taking time out of your day to help us young ladies who didn't get this when we were younger. I cannot tell you how much that means to me. I'm a boy mom. Lucy and I, neither of us have daughters. I also do consults outside of my YouTube channel, and I only share this with you all. I never reveal their identity, but most of the women that I consult are in their early 30s, and they're professional women who were raised and told to go get that bag, and now they are desperate for relationship because they didn't prioritize. And I had one tell me, my mother should have told me this. So I feel very passionate about it. And I'm coming back to the comments, but I just wanted to say this. And Danielle, in love, I will say this, and I learned this the hard way. Where is the comment? The way we are raised, that in the way that I thought men and women are equal, I can do everything a man can do, we are both equally valued, but we are very different, especially as we age. And I would challenge that at 49, you probably don't feel the same drive to hit it hard like you did at 29. And that's the mistake that I made. And I always want to be transparent with you all about what I did right and what I did wrong. And, to say, I think I said this last week or in another stream, almost every woman that I know my age is looking for some type of exit, whether it's leaving corporate, she wants to age gracefully, she wants to slow it down, maybe work part time or whatever. Every man that I know that's my age and older is investing, is starting another business, is putting it into second gear. Like, men are built for the long haul. We women, we have all of this gusto in our 20s. You can't tell us anything. I was going to change the world. But the problem is, as we age, and especially after we have children, and even if you don't have children, as you get older, we naturally start to slow down because we're not built for it, for the long haul. So that is my caution to any younger woman listening. Kevin Samuels always used to ask, what do you want life to look like when you're 40? What do you want life to look like when you're 50 and 60? So if you know that you're going to eventually want marriage and family, I implore you to start prioritizing that now, because the future is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is actually coming. We're going to be in the fall. But thank you, Danielle, for making that point and allowing me to expound on that. All right, Lucy, did you want to add anything?
No, very well said. And yes, Danielle, thank you very much for commenting and offering a different perspective and allowing us to provide our feedback on those.
All right, everybody's coming in and saying hello. Let's see what else we have. So just another mark is fine for the twerking, and anything else in private. Of course, ladies, satisfy your men. They, just keep it for their eyes only. That's all I'm saying. Miss Croti Shetty says, "Como se dice?" So yes, we have a Puerto Rican subscriber. So Victoria says, "Do ladies give advice to young wives?" I'm not sure if I understand the question. So are you saying in general, or are you saying Lucy and I? So let me give you guys a little bit of context here. So if you're new here, Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We have so much that we have planned for you all. And I'll tell you a little bit about it, and then we will come back to the questions. Let me see if I can show you all. So we have a finishing school. This is a privately taught 8-week finishing school that is currently in session. And we offer this several times a year. The next intake will be in January of next year. So you can add your name to the wait list, but you don't have to wait until January. We have several things that are coming up. So if you all are interested in getting more coaching from Lucy and I, number one, Lucy and me, we're here every Wednesday evening. So we're here once a week to provide this service free to the community if anybody wants to get perspective from two older ladies. We also have several classes coming up. So let me take this off so you can see. Saturday, October 28th, We are going to have Sarah Bodenova, who is a professional ballroom dancer. She is going to be teaching us about how to move as a feminine woman. It is so important. We talked about this in the finishing school. We told our students there is such a thing about as silent femininity. A lot of times in this masculine world that we're in, we think we need to overtalk men and raise our voice and shout and really get all the attention on us. The opposite is true, ladies. When you pull back and you slow down and you lower your voice, it actually draws people in instead of saying, "Hey, I got something to say." I've had to learn that too. So Sarah is coming. You can register for the class. We also have a discount code for you all, live stream, which gives you 10% off. So that's Saturday, the 28th. In addition to that, we have the next day another class. Lucy and I are going to be teaching hosting etiquette for the modern woman. So I am a social butterfly. I love hosting, but some people it gives them anxiety. So we've put together a course. This will be another one-day mini course. It'll be Sunday, October 29th from at 3 p.m. Eastern. A link is the description. You can go ahead and register as well. That will be privately taught. We're going to talk about everything from A to Z. Excuse me, what the host is responsible for, what the guests are responsible for. So whether it's for the holidays or any time of year, you can refer back to this. So if you want to make sure that you show up and show out, we have a course for you. And then lastly, we have free for everyone a 30-day elegance boot camp. So go ahead and save the date. We are going to be teaching from Woman of Elegance. This is Vivian, and Vivian is going to make an appearance November 1 through November 30. We are going to be teaching 30 minutes every day from her 30-day guide on how you can start your elegance journey. And that will be here on YouTube and Facebook for everyone. So spread the news. So that's how you can find us. So going back to your question about giving advice to wives, if you have a specific question, we are happy to answer it. But that's what I wanted to say about that. Lucy, did you want to add anything? Oh my gosh, I'm scrolling back, y'all.
Did we miss a super chat?
Oh my goodness. I think we did. Shout out to the super chat. We got the Real Bravado Network. He says, wait a minute. Is that another $49.99? Y'all, thank you. First of all, Real Bravado Network, that is incredibly generous. And he says, add this to Kim K as a stream sponsor. So we are going to add that on. I think that's $99.98. We'll just say $100. Thank you. Incredibly generous of you. Real Bravado is also a content creator, and he has been supporting, I know, my channel, and I'm sure Lucy's channel as well. So thank you for the generous donation. And look, ladies, our community is supported and moderated by men, and we love our men, and we need our men. And so I'm just saying that. Thank you. So generous. All right. So let me go back to Victoria. Victoria, if you had a specific question, you can ask, and I'll drop the link one more time in case anybody wanted to actually talk to Lucy and me. You can be camera on or camera off. All right. So Lucy, I'm going to scroll. Anything else to add? All right, we'll keep going. So Tyra says, Maggie, the substitute teacher, how do you stay so grounded? This is a good question. How do I stay so grounded? Well, clearly you haven't seen my cooking shows. No, I'm kidding. I have fun in the kitchen. I work on it. I am very intentional about how I show up because the internet is forever. And this is a legacy that Lucy and I are leaving long after we're gone. one of the things that I told our students in the finishing school, when you see me really composed and speaking slowly and softly, that's probably when I'm my most uncomfortable because I've had to learn to slow down. One of the things I've learned, elegance is not rushed. I learned that in my training. And I used to be here, there, and everywhere, and it just wasn't a good look. And so when I realized my intention is I want to show up as the best version of myself. My guy always used to say, like, you are already that matriarch. You just need to see yourself the way others see you. And so I've just been really intentional about how I carry myself, how I speak, and just prioritizing what really matters and letting everything else, just kind of fall off. Do I get, hate comments? Do I see things that bother me? Yes, but I don't focus on it and I fill my time and my space. I'm very selective with what I watch, what I listen to, my circle of influence. I'm just very guarded, but not in like a closed off kind of way. I'm very open, but I'm very selective. And that helps me. Lucy, I'm going to ask you the same question. How do you stay so grounded?
Aside from the items that you spoke about, I think it's I think it's realizing that we're here for just a short amount of time and understanding that um, what we see in social media, what we see out there, it's really not part of our lives. And I think that when it comes to selecting the amount of information that you're going to take in, it's really important. Um, I think that we're sponges. What you bring in, we kind of like we absorb it. So the more goodness and the more happiness and the more beautiful things that you bring into your life, you're going to see the world in a different way. I think also as women, we are supposed to see beauty in things. We are supposed to bring in the beauty to our husbands. They are the ones that tell us you decorate the home however you want to because they know that we have that touch. We see the delicate things in life. So I think that appreciating life and thanking, if you're religious, God, if you believe in the universe brings everything, thanking the universe. For me, I thank God every day for the good things that he brings to us. I think that gives you a different perspective in life, and I think for me that's what keeps me grounded.
I love that. We've got the Clue channel coming in saying, my lady is 11 years older than me, and I love it. Well, shout out to you. I mean, like I said, it's definitely out there. I'd be interested to know how long y'all have been together and what ages you were, but none of my business. Let us
There
continue.
it is. That's the exception to the rule, and Clue
Yes.
has just proven us wrong.
Well, I don't know if an
But
exception
it's not
proves us
proven.
wrong.
It's
Yeah.
right, not proving us wrong, but he has shown us the needle in the haystack.
Absolutely. There's always going to be one-offs in those cases, and I'm so glad that you're happy. I would just say in general, we usually see more women that are younger than men than older. But look, love is love, and I am glad that you have found it. Another one off the market. That works for me. All right, so you all are shouting each other out. So introvert Baricua says it's better for a man to be a few years older, but a relationship with a generational gap can become, yeah, parent child. I see Celine talking about it too. Um, I try to tread lightly because I know in generations past you may have, there are societies where men have multiple wives and maybe his first or second wife can't have any more children for him. There are just other things that happen. I know we're here in the Western world, so I always just try to show respect, but I know 30 years my senior would be way too much for me as well. Celine says dating apps are a good fallback, but go to places like the gym or the library. Yeah, wherever your interests are. The Clue Channel says no to all dating apps. Well, there's an absolute. They are designed to keep you on the app. Now, this is a really good point. And ladies, I want to use this as a teachable moment too for social media. I think the internet and all of that is a wonderful tool. We're using it to come connect with you all today. But just know that it is a tool, it is a resource that can be used for good. It can also be used for not good. So, we see this in our kids. You have to really watch. We can all go down that rabbit hole. You start with a simple search, and before you know it, you've wasted a lot of time. So, just be mindful of that and use it in a way that serves you. Lucy, did you want to add anything to that?
We just got a super sticker from Tyra. Thank you so much, Tyra, for this super sticker. Wow, that means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, you all are so generous tonight. We appreciate you so much. This is just our way of giving back. We really, want to provide value, and I'm glad that you all are finding this useful. So thank you, Tyra. No comment, no question, just the pure love of, I won't call it the game, the coaching. Okay, so let's see. I had to hop down. Let me go back up. Okay, we were talking about dating apps, shouting out Luke Hazley for her great words. Just another Mark is talking about those social media filters. Y'all, we have all seen some of these before and after. I'm going to use all of these troll comments as a teachable moment. Okay, ladies, do not traumatize your men. And I will say this, one of the things, one of the qualities, if you get to know men and you study them, not what someone told you, but if you really pay attention, one of the qualities that men really appreciate is consistency. All right. Now, we all want to look our best, and that's fine. But it's important that you have, let's just call it a beauty routine that you can easily maintain. One of the we talked about hate comments. I've gotten comments about my lack of nails and my hair and everything, but my man likes it. So I don't know what to tell you. But it's important to me that I show up in a way that you all are like, oh, that's Maggie. And so taking care of my skin, taking care of my teeth in a simple way that I can just maintain allows me to be instantly presentable so that I'm consistent, but also being red carpet ready or then looking like who shot John, that is not good. So don't traumatize your men. Of course, if you're going out for a fancy event, you'll want to do a little bit more. But finding a capsule wardrobe of clothes that fit you well, again, shout out to Old Navy or whatever. Finding a simple makeup, hair, nail, skin routine that you can do consistently, your man really wants to see you, not all the other stuff. Lucy, what do you say about that?
I absolutely agree. There's that song by Billy Joel, I Love You Just the Way You Are, which says, don't try, what is it, changing to try to please me or
Don't go
something. So,
changing.
yeah,
Trying to
right.
please.
Exactly. So men, they like you how you are. When they see you changing drastically your hair, everything is just that's not what they fell in love with. Find an easy makeup routine, easy mascara, a little blush, a little lipstick. That's all. Something that doesn't make you from Fiona to Shrek, from Shrek to Fiona. I mean, we have seen some stuff on the internet of these women that are completely shocking. You see one person and then it's somebody completely different. And like those apps, I was saying, those men that have walked away because on the app they look one way, and then when they see them coming, it's like, wait a minute, is that the one? so yeah, I agree. Apps are just not filters are not a good thing because it's false advertisement.
Absolutely. And some of you all in the chat, I've actually met in person. just just putting it out there. One of our scholars asked us if we would ever have like a meetup or something like that. We're definitely thinking about this in the new year. So if you all have any ideas or anything, we've got some of our own. But I do think it's important that for those of you all that meet me in person or have ever met me, the same Maggie that you see online is who you meet, or you'd be like, whoa. And it has happened to me. I won't name any names, but when you meet people and you're just like, or when you meet them in person and yeah, it's just, ladies, you're not fooling anyone. Enhance, make the best of your assets, a little honest optical illusion, and then just be the best version of yourself. All right. So Real Bravado saying hello. Tyra is cheering us on. The introvert Boricua says probably that golden Bachelor is the train wreck that brings the ratings. I think I'm a little far back. I think we covered this. The Clue Channel says men aren't afraid of independent women. They just don't want them.
I
So,
think Victoria S has a question. If you want
oh,
to take a look at,
okay,
I
yes.
think she had a question.
Can you bring it up? I'm just scrolling. I'm
Let
so
me let me
far
look it up.
behind.
Hold on just a second.
I'm sorry,
Here
y'all.
we go.
Okay, Victoria, thank you for your question. She says, how can I improve my communication skills with my husband when he doesn't want to open up about his mood? Ooh, this is a good one. I got a lot to say about this. Okay, first of all, thank you for the question. I think this is a common one, especially you seem younger than me. So, in young marriage, two things. Number one, again, men and their nature, and when you study them, we women bond over sharing experiences. We talk a lot. We like to talk about what's good and what's not going well. That's sometimes, we bond over just like complaining. It's weird, but we do. Men are very different. Men are not going to open up and say, oh, this is happening and I'm worried about this and I'm anxious about this and I'm not. Men by nature are very stoic and they feel the burden of solving their own problems and actually look, I don't want to say down on, but they don't pride themselves on having to share bad news with their woman. It's actually counter to how they see themselves. So, number one, I would ask that you are aware of that and respect that. So, what can we do, as a wife or as a support system? Our job is to make sure that he is in a safe and comfortable space, and you do everything you can to make the environment around him comfortable for him. If that's a meal, if that's soft music, if it's the football game, your man, but you make sure that you are giving him that soft place to fall in the environment. Maybe it's just sitting there and holding his hand. Maybe it's scratching its back. Maybe it's just giving him a kiss on the cheek. Again, silent femininity. You don't have to say anything, and you don't want to pull, his concerns out of him. Oftentimes, a man will open up when he's ready. If he chooses to, he will open up to you when he's ready. So you stay consistent in loving him, supporting him, and complimenting him because it's the human experience. We all have good days and bad days, but especially when he's down, that's when you tell him how proud you are of him, how impressed you are of him, how confident you are in him. That's what I would say. Lucy, what do you say?
I agree with everything you said, and in addition to is when you're talking about a calm space, if you have the kids running around when you know that he needs that time to kind of like, I don't know, re-energize, allow him. If he's got his own space, if he likes to work on cars, if he likes to do things with his hands, allow him that space on his own, because that's what he's using to solve whatever problem is he's having. If he decides to tell you about his problem, that's great. You'll just listen. Honey, I'll be there if you need me. You go take care of the kids, warm up the meal, create, continue making his space as peaceful and quiet and supportive as possible. If he wants to share it, great. If he doesn't, he's going to solve it on his own. And maybe 5 years from now, he's going to say, "Remember that day that I was just moping and, doing around? This is what's happening." So do not try to pry or take that moodiness or issue that he's dealing with. He's trying to figure it out on his own. And we as women should appreciate that time that they're taking because, again, as women, do we want a whiny man? Do we want a man that always comes with all the problems in the world when they're the ones that are supposed to be solving the problems in the world? So let him be, create the peaceful space. If he wants to share, he'll share. If not, you're there to help him if he needs you. That's it.
I love it. And thank you so much, Tara, for the compliment. Y'all, I'm back at the bottom of the list. So if I missed it, copy and paste. But Tara, one of our students, says the finishing school is for every woman. There are many things we are not taught or passed down today. This school teaches class, elegance, and how to handle yourself as a strong, confident, feminine woman. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. So we have Big Ben. Lucy, I'm going to let you take this one.
He says, Big Ben says, one of the issues with those online apps is that 90% of the women follow the 10% of men in the platform. And yeah, again, it's the 90-10. It's not even 80-20 anymore. It's 90-10.
That's so true. And I think it mirrors life. So, ladies, this relationship thing, it is competitive. You've got to compete in a feminine way to get and keep his attention. And then you need to compete in a feminine way to keep him. We need to show up as the best version of ourselves. What did I saw it here? Lisa said, husbands don't need to wake up to a stranger. And yes, they don't want to wake up to Shrek. So, again, another reason why I say, prioritize relationship while you have your leverage. And as a woman, it's in our younger years. We do slow down and we age. Men expect us to age, but men remember and they appreciate the loyalty and your belief in them and not nagging them and all of that. I've made the same mistake too, and sticking it through with them. If you picked a good one, hold on. Hold on. All right, so let me scroll down. We got Selma saying you were able to tune in. Hello. And thank you, Isaiah, for confirming. Yes, give the men space. There's so much we can do, ladies. Just be a sweet support. Tyra says, thank you, Maggie and Luke Hazley. OMG, we need more of these channels. Positive, beautiful women. Ah, you're too kind. We got Sage Page in the house. All right, Living Adventure says, why do guys take women on dates and then not tell them if they want a relationship? So let me think about this. Why do guys take women on dates? All right, so this is coming from, here's my disclaimer. I'm going to answer my best, but I'm a relationship girl. I've had two long term relationships, so I don't really have a lot of dating experience. But to me, dating the purpose of dating is to determine if there is a match for long term or marriage. Okay. So we can't put, how can I say this? I think it's okay if you go on a date and for whatever reason it's not a match. Now, if you're asking, you're on a date with a man and you're ready for a relationship and you ask him the same and he's kind of evasive in answering, that is your answer. I firmly believe this, ladies. When a man sees what he wants, let me tell you, I was talking to my guy tonight. You all know I do one-on-one consults outside of this. And I run, some things by my guy. I'm like, if there was a situation where this is happening, what would you say? And in this specific example, he said the man and the woman were playing like a game of double dutch because he was waiting to see if she was real. She was waiting for him to announce his intentions, because we do, ladies, we want, I am Tarzan, you are Jane, I am yours. But the problem is, what he told me is that what she was presenting, he had not seen yet what he needed to see so that he could say, that is the one for me. Because when a man is ready and he sees what he wants, he goes after it. So either you are not what he wants, or you are not what he wants yet. So there's really no trying to force a man to say what he wants in the relationship. You show up, you're the best version of yourself, you announce what you would like. I envision myself as a wife and mother one day, so I'm dating with intentions to marry. And if it's not reciprocated, then it's not a match. He doesn't owe you, his life plan. You exit with grace, thank him for the date, and then you try to find someone that you are compatible with. But men are not required on dates to say what their um, how can I say, their intentions for you are at that point. Lucy, what would you say to that one? That's a tough one
I
for me.
agree. On that first date, that's where, first of all, on that first date, that was the first intention as a woman. For me, again, I'm like Maggie. I did not date as much. I was married very young, was divorced. Then I met my husband. I did not have a chance to be dating, but I did go out on a few one-time dates where um, it was it's a date or you break it. I didn't like what, the vibe or the communication or the things that we were telling each other, and that was it. The date, one date, that was enough for me to say this is not the right person for me. The date that I went with my husband, we went on a lunch date. We had a great conversation. Then we went on a second date, third date, and we've been together, ever since. So I think that that first date, that's where you really say, I date with intention. I don't go out with many men, because the reason I'm here with you is because I consider you a serious gentleman. And what I want to have a year, 2 years from now is a marriage, and I plan to have kids, and I want to have a family, and so forth. That first date should tell you whether he's serious or not by what you say, what your intentions are with that first date. I don't know if it helps.
Yes, we are definitely trying. I love what Lisa says. I don't understand couples who have only been dating for 3 to 6 months and have issues and think counseling is a good idea. I think that's what dating is about. But her last sentence here, you can't force compatibility. And ladies, it is what it is. We all know, if we're being very honest with ourselves, we all know what it's like to be pursued. You may not being pursued by the man that you want, but you know when a man gives you attention because he likes what he sees. Men offer, we women either accept or we decline graciously. But if he's not moving in, like he's serious, it just means that maybe he's not serious for you, and that's okay. Doesn't make him a bad person. Mrs. Crotty Shetty again with $20. Oh my gosh. She says, hey ladies, thanks for the info tonight. For some reason I can't super chat on Lucy's channel. Miss Lucy, are you monetized yet?
No, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's okay. I'm not concerned about that. Thank you, Ms. T. Shetty. We appreciate that. And I love you all for these comments, for these contributions, for these questions. This is amazing. Again, the what is it? The monetization, it requires a lot of time, and it requires a lot of um, live streams. And I'm not good for that.
Well, I will say this, I'm gonna be slightly masculine. As long as I'm here, we're gonna work towards it. Well, first of all, Mrs. Crotichetti, thank you. So Luke Hazley's Cash App, if anyone wants to support her directly, it's scrolling along the bottom of the screen. It is her name, $ Luke Hazley 20. You can support her directly. We are multi-streaming on both platforms. So Lucy, I would love to know after this how your watch hours are looking because I would love for Lucy to be monetized. This really is a labor of love for us, but thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to make that my mission. Who do we have here? You all know her and you love her. We have Auntie Jenny, and she says, I'm loving the classic look of pearls and black dresses. This was actually Lucy's idea. She said, what if this is our teacher uniform? So every Wednesday, we come here in black and our pearls. And we also have the same uniform on Saturday when we teach our private students. It's very important to us that we show up as our best because we ask our students to be, camera ready if they are on camera. It's important. I think it's just a good habit to show up presentable. So thank you so much, Auntie Jenny. What does Rodney say? In my opinion, men gain their perspective about women when they are separated from her in order to come to a decision. Oh, that is so good. Conversely, it seems like women gain their perspective about a man during their meeting. I'm going to use this as a teachable moment as well. Thank you so much for the comment, Rodney. Lucy touched on something about when a man is struggling with something, he may never tell you anything about it until months or years after. I've had to learn that about my man and not take it personally. So, ladies, listen, in relationship with a man, especially a man who is on his purpose and who is very um, determined to be a problem solver, if he's wrestling with something, one of the things that's so important to a man is his ego. So if he doesn't see himself as in a way that he wants you to see him, he may retreat. He may get quieter. He may seem like he's distant because he's trying to figure something out, make a big decision about work or move or money or whatever it is. So I had to learn that it's not a reflection on me. As long as I've been consistent, knowing what he likes and delivering on that consistently, 10 times out of 10, he always comes back. And it seemed rough and rocky at the time, but he always comes back to thank me for being consistent during that time. And then he'll tell me, yeah, this was going on with the family, or this was going on at work, or this was going on. And it could be days or weeks or months or never. But he'll just out of nowhere say, thanks, babe. I appreciate you. You're so good to me. So, ladies, just keep that in mind and don't let little changes throw you because what Rodney said about men retreating to make decisions, it's very true. Lucy, did you want to add anything to that?
I agree. And thank you all for joining us. I see Trad Guy Travels. He's in Brazil now. Wow, you do travel. My goodness. Thank you for being here. The Compliment Kin, Isaiah Jr. Who else? Vaughn Bryant. Thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you coming in and offering your all of your perspectives and your blessings always. Thank you so much.
Yes. So I'm going to update Miss Crotichetti on the ticker. I didn't know if you had anything else, but Isaiah does have a question. He says, my question to the panel, what is the purpose of a date? Is it the meal or to get to know the person? Oh, you hit a nerve with me. Another teachable moment. And we talk to our students about this in finishing school. So I'm going to give you a general and then a specific answer. Whenever you dine with others, it is never about the food. It was always about the connection, the conversation, the networking, the relationship. That is the priority. And we give some details to our students about what to do to make sure it's a good experience. But um, I think the culture today, and I've heard it and I see, some women make jokes about, going out and having elaborate, dinner dates, and they had no intention of really getting to know this guy. I think it's tragic. It actually makes me very upset because men work very hard for what they provide. I know Auntie Jenny talked about this as well. So I remember my first date with my guy was at Chick-fil-A, which is like, a little, he had some time, for a little lunch date. And it was just a Chick-fil-A. There's coffee dates, there's walks in the park, there's, frozen yogurt. It's really about just seeing if there is a connection there. And ladies, we've got to learn to be patient. One of the things that I told my consult, who was very anxious to have all the big stuff in the beginning, that's not how it works with men. Men appreciate loyalty over time. And so they want to ensure that the woman that you are presenting yourself as is who you actually are. That is why 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that's when you see the big stuff. So be very careful about expecting a man to just open up and give you the keys to the safe in the beginning. Take time and get to know him. And like Kevin Samuel said, you should not accept a date from a man that you're not genuinely interested in. So that's what I would say. Lucy, what did you want to add?
Very well said. And one of the things about offering that man space is being consistent, because you don't want your husband, let's say your husband, his job requires a lot of traveling. He needs to know that your loyalty is there whether he's there or not. If he's 20 hours away from the home, he can't be worried about you creating some chaos or mess and being inconsistent with your loyalty. So I think that being consistent with who you are, the way you present yourself, the things you say has to match. And For him to be secure that he has a good one at home.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Rodney says women must be careful about their insecurities during these times when men retreat to their thoughts to come to a conclusion. A woman's insecurities can do irreparable harm during these times. That is so true. And yeah, I'm telling you, modern dating, I really feel for you all. I'm just, yes. Isaiah says networking. Like, absolutely. I mean, it could be, for multiple reasons, but ladies, it's never about the food. All right, so let me scroll back and see if I missed any questions. The Clue Channel says, why aren't you monetized? You're not controversial like me. So, for all of our content creators out there, in order to be monetized for YouTube, because I do have a course on this. There's a free preview, Teachable Moments with Maggie.com. But you need over 1,000 subscribers, which Lucy has. You also need over 4,000 watch hours. And we are going to get her watch hours. Every time you all tune in, whether you watch live or the replay, um, one person watching for 1 hour is one watch hour. So either multiple people watching or people watching for long periods of time. But I think we're gonna make it happen for Lucy.
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys. You'll get me there. I know you are.
absolutely. All right, so let's see. I do want to share just a few slides. M. Jones says, "Hello, ladies. Thanks for all you do. Want to make sure we answered everything. Just give you all a few updates about what's happening in the finishing school." Isaiah said, "But Maggie, modern women expect men to qualify themselves, saying they don't do coffee dates. How much is enough for a date?" I would say if a woman, oh gosh, this is a tough one, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say for a first date, if a woman is not okay just meeting for a coffee just to see if there's a connection there, then I would say she's not the one for you. The dates that women are expecting now for first dates is what we would do for an anniversary, a marriage anniversary. I just think I think it's wrong. And, as a boy mom, I think my son had his first little job this summer and just, understanding the value of a hard day's work, and then a third of your paycheck is blown. But no, I just, I don't. I don't know. What do you say to that, Lucy?
I think that that should be an immediate disqualification. If you see that the woman wants you to spend, I don't know, wants you to take her to Ruth's Chris for the first a meetup, the first type of date that you have, I think that that's somebody for me that would require a lot of work. It's what is it? High maintenance person. You don't want that. I mean, I know that there are that you could probably do it, but why? If you think about it, that's a lot, at least $150 dinner if you don't put in, if she drinks or whatever. That's I don't know, that's just too much for one the first date to get to know each other. And again, it goes back to consideration for each other. We talk on our training on our Saturday classes. When it comes to etiquette and elegance, it always goes back to being considerate to everyone, thinking about how is that person going to feel, how is that person going to see, how is that person going to have this experience. So again, when a woman tells you that they want to be taken out to a high dollar price restaurant, that should be a red flag. Again, that's my opinion. That's how I think, because I wouldn't do that to my husband. I didn't do it for my first husband. I didn't do it for my husband right now. So, I mean, I think it's something um, that maybe they see on TV, they see in the movies, they see all of these high value things that in reality doesn't even come close. So I think that it's important when you're doing your qualifications of a potential suitor.
Absolutely. I was just going through some of the comments, and this is perfect timing. We have Next Level saying, "Good evening, ladies. What would you recommend to get women to be more ladylike and improve things like table manners, social etiquette?" I thought you'd never ask. All right, you all. I'm going to share my screen and just give you all a little insight. I know we have some new people here, but again, Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. So I just have a few slides I'm going to blaze through and just update you all on what we have to offer. We talked a little bit about it, so I am so glad that you asked. Let me pull this up. All right, and I'm going to take down the comment so you all can see. Okay, and then let me make this full screen. All right, thank you all so much for all of your questions today. Again, the Finishing School for the Modern Woman is an online 8-week privately taught class for ladies who are interested in working on their femininity, their elegance, their etiquette. We are here for you all once a week to answer your questions to the public. But if you know any ladies who are interested, or gentlemen, if you want to send your ladies to be taught by Lucy and I, we would love to have you. Let's see what else we have here. Let me go through quickly. All right, so you all have gotten to know Lucy and I. Very happy to teach the community. Right now, enrollment is closed. We are currently in session with our first group of students, but you can add your name to the wait list. You can absolutely do that. Our next round of classes will be in the new year. If this is something you want for your, Christmas list or whatever holiday that you celebrate, our next session will be January 6th through February 24th. We meet every Saturday, so it's basically Saturday school, and it is recorded. If you're unable to meet live, you have lifetime access to the materials. Another update for you all, these Q&A sessions are now available for you all on Spotify. So you can find the Finishing School for the Modern Woman podcast if you want to listen with us, listen to us on the go. our Q&As. You all can share them. If you have Spotify, please follow the podcast. It's completely free. So we talked about some upcoming courses. Saturday, October 28th. If you want to move more elegantly like a woman, we have registration open for a one-day masterclass taught by Sarah Badenova, champion ballroom dancer. We also have enrollment open for another one-day masterclass for hosting. Anyone who's interested in making sure you as a host or you show up as the best guest. And then the Elegance Bootcamp is going to be free online for all ladies, November 1 through November 30th. We talked a little bit about Vivian before, but we are going to be teaching from her book. If you all want your own personal copy, there's a discount code for you, Elegance20, but our students already have access to the book for free, whether you're in this current intake or the upcoming intake, all right? So she is a content creator with over 400,000. Now, we talked about the finishing school and why we believe it's important, but one of the things that I'm really proud about is I am sharing my network with our students. And in addition to Lucy and me, I wanted to announce you all, this woman is very special to me. I know you all don't know her, but I've shared in the past that I am a former executive with the Coca-Cola Company, and I reached out to my hiring manager, and this is Katrinda. She is a C-level executive and has written her own book called Courtesy is Not an Option. She's a vice president of communications. She was my director of change management when I was at the Coca-Cola Company, and a grandmother of three. And when I tell you all, this woman, like I say, is who I want to be like when I grow up. And I'm very, very excited that she is going to be one of our guest speakers. One of the benefits for our students is they have lifetime access to any guest speaker that we bring on. So just wanted to say, if you all are interested, I invite you to join the waitlist. I think our finishing school is the best place if you have been told that you're too masculine or want to be more feminine and you just don't know how or where to begin and you're tired of fighting it, Lucy and I have a course for you. All right. So let's see as we wrap up. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else? Oh, thank you. You love the background on the presentation? That is Lucy. Oh, this way. That is Lucy. That is our curriculum writer. We are, I would say, the perfect duo. I'm the extrovert. Lucy keeps us grounded, but I think together we're very excited and the best is yet to come. Lucy, did you want to add anything?
I think my husband is in the background. I hear him going through bags. He's hungry, so I may have to shut down a little bit earlier. If you want to stay on, I'm good, but I need to go cook something for him. You're muted, Maggie.
I almost got through without it. So we are going to wrap up. If I missed your comment, I see you all with your smoothies and ribs and whiskey on first date. Lucy is going to cook for her husband, which you all know that is near and dear to my heart. So yes, Mrs. Crotty Shetty, we will end on this. She says, "Is Zoom to Thailand here?"
He sure is. We love him. Richie Mac is the best.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That is so funny. Okay, Victoria wants the link for the class. If the moderators could please drop the link to the finishing school, it should be in the description. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com and get all of the information. Thank you all so much for the laughs. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for everything. Ms. Crotty Shetty, she said she's going to get her husband to get her on the wait list. All right, so we will see our students on Saturday, and we will see you all next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for another Q&A. Thank you for all of the support, and thank you to our stream sponsor, Mrs. Crow T. Shetty. All right, everyone, we'll see you next time.